Let's get started with our first news. Ilia Topuria versus Islam Makhachev should be next, according to Merab Dvalishvili. That's right, Topuria versus Makachev could be the next blockbuster matchup, and the call for this mega fight is coming from none other than Merab himself. During a recent livestream, Merab Dvalishvili was seen chatting with popular influencer Sneo and MMA veteran Jake Shields. The conversation quickly turned toward the burning question on many fans' minds. Who should Islam Makhachev fight next? When asked whether Ilia Topuria should get the next shot at Islam, Merab didn't hesitate for even a second. He made it crystal clear that Ilia is the fight that makes the most sense right now. Why? Because according to Merab, Ilia is the biggest name in the game at the moment. Here's the direct quote from Merab. Ilia should get the fight. He's not a heavyweight anymore. He's flying, and now he's a champion. Who else do you have? I know he said he doesn't want to fight certain guys, but right now, the biggest name is Ilia. And even though Islam is my friend, I love him. It's going to be stupid if he fights someone who just lost. Give Ilia the title shot. That's a powerful endorsement, especially coming from someone as respected as Merab. He's not just throwing names out there. He's thinking about legacy, timing, and the current landscape of the UFC. Merab understands the importance of momentum, and right now, Ilia Topuria has exactly that. He's undefeated, he's a champion, and he's got the kind of fan buzz that promoters dream about. And look, when you think about the potential matchup itself, it's a mouth-watering clash of styles. Islam Makhachev is known for his dominant grappling, his pressure, and his fight IQ. On the other side, Ilia Topuria brings power, precision, and explosive striking that can change the course of a fight in seconds. If the UFC listens to Merab, and they often do when top contenders speak out, we could be on the verge of witnessing one of the most technically elite showdowns in UFC history. Two champions, two elite martial artists, and only one will walk away with the win. Stay tuned, because this might be the super fight we never knew we needed, but absolutely deserved. Moving on to our next news, Belal Muhammad fires back at Carlos Pratea's comments. That's right, there's some serious heat brewing in the welterweight division. Carlos Prates recently stirred the pot when he made it crystal clear that in his opinion, fighting Islam Makhachev would be much tougher than going up against the reigning welterweight champion Belal Muhammad. Now, we all know Belal isn't the type to stay quiet when someone calls him out, and sure enough, he came back swinging. Prates, who's currently preparing for his crucial April 26th bout against rising contender Ian Gary, is slowly making a name for himself in the welterweight scene. A win over Gary could put him just one big win away from a title shot, but while doing media ahead of his upcoming fight, Prates was asked a straightforward question. Who would be the tougher opponent, Belal Muhammad or Islam Makhachev? Prates didn't hesitate. He said, "It's going to be a hard fight because Islam is much better than Belal Muhammad. I don't know if he's the better fighter overall, but he's definitely harder to beat. He's good on the feet. He's good on the ground. Belal has really great wrestling, and I think his mindset is strong too. But Islam? He's just on a different level." Ouch. That comment didn't take long to make its way back to Belal Muhammad, and the welterweight king wasn't going to let that slide. His response, "Classic Belal, short, sharp, and cutting. I would take this nerd's lunch money." Yep, that was a direct shot at Prates and his affiliation with the self-branded Fighting Nerds team, a group that prides itself on analytics, IQ, and technique. But Belal made it clear, this isn't math class, this is war. And let's be honest, if these two ever meet inside the octagon, it's not going to be just another title defense. It's going to be personal. The tension is already there. The words have already been exchanged. And Belal Muhammad sounds more than ready to show why he's the man sitting on the throne. He's not just defending a belt, he's defending his name, his legacy, and his right to be called the best welterweight in the world. Now let's move on to the next big story, and it's one that has fans worried. Concerns are rising for Sean O'Malley due to a possible injury. Sean O'Malley is currently scheduled to face off against Merab Dvalishvili at UFC 316, taking place this June 7th. The fight is a highly anticipated rematch after Merab famously ended O'Malley's title reign last September. Ever since that defeat, Sugar Sean has been pushing hard for redemption, claiming the judges got it wrong, the scoring was off, and that he deserved another shot. Eventually, the UFC granted him that wish. The rematch was made official, but now, just weeks away from the fight, a new concern has entered the picture. A Snapchat clip reposted by content creator Real Kevin C shows what appears to be Sean O'Malley moving around on crutches. That's right, the flamboyant, colorful, confident striker known as Sugar Sean was seen hobbling on crutches, sparking instant speculation across the MMA community. Some fans tried to downplay it, claiming the clip could be old. After all, Sean had his signature braids in the video, and since it's not fight week yet, maybe it was just recycled footage. But then, new images surfaced from a recent poker night involving O'Malley and his crew, and guess what? In those photos, Sean and his team were wearing the exact same clothes seen in the crutches video. That strongly suggests the footage is, in fact, recent. So what does this mean for UFC 316? Well, at this point, there has been no official statement from the UFC, Sean O'Malley, or his team regarding an injury or delay. Some are hopeful that it's just a minor issue, maybe a rolled ankle, a light sprain, or just some soreness from a hard training session. It's not uncommon for fighters to use crutches temporarily to avoid putting stress on an injury during recovery. But when it's Sean O'Malley, one of the UFC's biggest stars, headlining a major event, every little detail gets magnified. Fans are now left wondering, is the rematch in jeopardy? Will O'Malley be at 100% on fight night, or is this all just smoke with no fire? Whatever the case may be, the MMA world is watching closely, and until we get clarification, all eyes will remain on Sean O'Malley and whether this highly anticipated rematch goes down as planned. Now let's talk about something absolutely wild, because this one takes the cake. Or maybe 5 milkshakes. Paddy the Baddy Pimblett has once again made headlines for doing what he does best, packing on the pounds after fight night. This time, he reportedly gained 42 pounds in just 1 week after UFC 314. In a recent sit-down interview with the iconic voice of the Octagon, Bruce Buffer, Paddy opened up about his post-fight habits. And when the topic of his now infamous weight gain came up, Paddy didn't hold back. What he said shocked even the most hardcore fans. Paddy casually revealed, "I had about 5 milkshakes after the fight. This morning, I woke up at 198 pounds. Let that sink in." His official fight weight was 156 pounds, meaning he gained over 42 pounds in just 7 days. And he wasn't done. Paddy added, "In the States, the food just turns me into a machine. I'm massive. I still had a full Coke left and someone brought me a new one. I just took it. Whatever's offered, I'll take it." That kind of honesty is classic Paddy. Unapologetically himself, but he also touched on the dark side of the sport, admitting, "I love fighting, but the one thing none of us like is making weight. It's just something we have to do." And that's the heart of the issue. While fans love Paddy's personality, many experts and fighters have raised serious concerns about his dramatic weight fluctuations. Gaining and cutting that much weight repeatedly is dangerous. It puts major stress on the heart, liver, and kidneys, not to mention the mental toll of extreme dieting and dehydration just to make weight. But here's the thing, Paddy doesn't seem too interested in changing his ways. In fact, he embraces it. He's made it part of his identity. The fighter who eats like a monster after a win and somehow always makes weight when it's time to go to war. Still, with so many eyes on him and such a promising future in the UFC, the question remains, will this eventually catch up with him? Or will Paddy continue to defy expectations and bounce between the baddie and big baddie like it's nothing? One thing's for sure, when it comes to post-fight indulgence, Paddy Pimblett is in a league of his own. Next up, Merab Dvalishvili is already making headlines ahead of UFC 316, and it's not just because of his training. He just revealed a brand new custom mouthpiece. And guess who's on it? That's right, Sean O'Malley's face. As fight week approaches and the hype builds, Merab decided to send a loud and clear message to not just his opponent, but to the entire bantamweight division. In a bold move dripping with psychological warfare, Merab unveiled a custom-made mouthguard that features 2 faces printed on it, Sean O'Malley and Umar Nurmagomedov, and right in the middle, written in big, bold letters, are the words, "I am your father." It's a statement that's got everyone talking. This isn't just about protecting his teeth, it's about planting seeds of doubt, asserting dominance, and showing that Merab Dvalishvili isn't just here to defend his title, he's here to make a statement. This kind of pre-fight trolling is something we usually expect from fighters like Sean O'Malley himself, who's known for his colorful hair, flashy outfits, and showman antics. But now the tables have turned, and Merab is proving he can play the mental game just as well as anyone. The message behind the mouthpiece is crystal clear. Merab is saying he's the top dog. He's already beaten Sean once, and now he's not just planning to beat him again. He's letting Sean know that he owns the cage, the division, and the narrative. And let's not forget the inclusion of Umar Nurmagomedov on the mouthpiece. That's a sign that Merab sees UFC 316 as more than just a title defense. He sees it as a warning shot to the rest of the top contenders, especially those in the Dagestani circle. By putting Umar's face on the same mouthguard, he's essentially saying, "You're next." With a simple piece of gear, Merab has cranked the intensity up to 100. He's not just fighting for the belt, he's fighting for legacy, for respect, and for total psychological control before the cage even closes. One thing's for sure, this fight just got way more personal, and with that kind of fire behind him, Merab is walking into UFC 316 not just as a champion, but as a man on a mission. Let's now shift our focus to the heavyweight division, and things are heating up in a big way. Tom Aspinall, the UFC's interim heavyweight champion, just dropped a major hint that a showdown with the legendary Jon Jones could be on the horizon. In a recent YouTube upload, Aspinall spoke directly to fans who've been anxiously waiting for updates about his next fight. With a serious look on his face and a calm but confident tone, he said, "I know everyone wants fight news. I know it, but I can't give you the answer right now. I've had meetings with the UFC. I've been sworn to secrecy." That single line, "sworn to secrecy," has set the MMA community on fire. It's got everyone speculating that a massive announcement could be just around the corner. And while Aspinall didn't name names, fans instantly knew who he was hinting at: the current undisputed heavyweight champion, Jon Bones Jones. But it wasn't just what Tom said that got people talking, it's what he did. In a display of pure brute strength, Aspinall grabbed a solid metal frying pan and crushed it with his bare hands, bending and rolling it like it was made of cardboard. It was the kind of raw power that makes you sit up in your seat and say, "This guy's the real deal." And this is exactly the kind of showmanship and presence that fans crave. Aspinall has never been just another fighter. He carries himself with calm confidence, but behind that calm is a monster ready to explode inside the cage. And that's why a potential Jon Jones versus Tom Aspinall unification bout would be one of the most anticipated fights in UFC history. Let's not forget, Aspinall ran through Sergey Pavlovich to claim the interim belt, proving he can go toe-to-toe with the most dangerous men in the world. Meanwhile, Jon Jones is still recovering from injury, and his timeline for return has remained unclear. But if the UFC is planning something big behind the scenes, this might just be it. Whether it's UFC 304, UFC 305, or a mega card later this year, fans are now on high alert, and if this truly is the beginning of a Jones versus Aspinall storyline, we're looking at a heavyweight classic in the making. Finally, let's wrap things up with some massive news about the one and only Khamzat Chimaev. After months of silence and uncertainty, Chimaev has officially begun training camp. That's right, the Wolf is back in the gym, sharpening his tools and preparing for war. Even though he isn't officially booked for a fight just yet, this update has fans going absolutely wild. And it's not just a regular training session. This looks like the beginning of a serious fight camp, which could only mean one thing: a big matchup is coming. And it's not just fan speculation fueling the hype. UFC President Dana White recently made it clear that he's seriously considering Khamzat Chimaev for a middleweight title shot, possibly against the current champ Dricus du Plessis during International Fight Week. If you know anything about the UFC calendar, you know that International Fight Week is one of the biggest events of the year. Over the past couple of years, we've seen massive fights headline this card, and 2025 is expected to be no different. But as of now, the main event for this year's Fight Week hasn't been officially revealed, and Khamzat Chimaev might be the name that steals the spotlight. Dana White was recently asked whether we're getting close to finalizing a headliner for that event, and in classic Dana fashion, he gave a short but electrifying response: "Tuesday, thank you." That's it, 2 words. And yet, those 2 words have the entire MMA world buzzing. If a major announcement really is coming this Tuesday, Khamzat versus Dricus could be what's on the table. And let's not forget, Chimaev has been out of action for a while, with questions swirling around injuries, visa issues, and even health complications. But now, seeing him back in full training mode is the clearest signal yet that he's healthy, hungry, and ready to return with a bang. So whether it's Islam versus Topuria, Bilal versus Prates, O'Malley's injury, Paddy's insane weight gain, Aspinall's heavyweight tease, or Chimaev's long-awaited return, one thing is absolutely clear: the UFC is on fire right now. Make sure to stay locked in, stay focused, and keep riding with us, because we'll keep bringing you the best and most electrifying combat sports updates every single time.